Hey gang, so I'm a little late to the party on this one, so of course I was evocati, but I was also having some problems with authorization, so jumping into 323 I was kind of able to do it intermittently, but not as much as I would like to. Let's go ahead and take a look at 323, just kind of some of the things I've noticed, some of the things I want to point out, some of the things I'm excited about. Of course it's still an early build, wave 1, probably wave 2 by the time you're watching this, hopefully. But yeah, let's get into it. Rufus is not going to be in this build. So first thing we'll start off with that I haven't seen anyone comment about, but it's the new launcher here. So in case you're looking for that verify button, if you see this little gear here and you click on that, now you can just verify from all the various patches this way. Then you click this back arrow. That was one of those things that the times I was trying to do it initially, I was kind of like, wait a minute, where's verify? It's right there. Another thing that's kind of interesting is you've got games up here. And of course, right now, the only game is Star Citizen, but presumably we'll be getting Squadron 42. So let's go ahead and jump in. And one thing to mention before we do that is there's the PTU here, but there's also the ePTU. That's the one that you actually want. It actually says it right here that it's ePTU wave 1. This is not evocati PTU, which is what it used to be. This is experimental PTU, which I don't know why they're running it on the ePTU branch instead of the PTU branch, but there you go. If it's not starting up and you're getting verification issues, that's why. Make sure that you're on ePTU. And game is relatively stable. There are a couple issues, but I mean, I think a launch date by Invictus, which is mid-May, is real doable. If not before then, I would be surprised if they don't drop this within the next couple weeks before the end of April. And then we get 323X on Invictus, just to kind of hammer out the whatever bugs appear when they get the volume of players that they're looking for. So let's go ahead and get into this. All right, so first indicators, obviously you've got this new screen here. One of the things I always thought would be cool is if they made this kind of a isolated world, so as opposed to just sort of taking a quick vid of an area, actually load it with Quanta and have these NPCs kind of doing stuff in this zone. You can have people flying in, landing, kind of like they're doing, but rather than having it on a loop, actually have like a small simulation running in the background. Probably way too cost expensive for a splash screen, but I just sort of think that would be cool. So of course you got the usual things. You got Arena Commander if you want to play around, I understand. Engineering right here, that's a new one. Engineering Duel, where you can play against other people. Engineering Squadron, yeah, there's some cool stuff here. Grav Royale is a new one. Gun Rush is an old one. All the other ones you've seen those, and then Squadron Battle Elimination, all of that. But these are the big ones, and we've got a number of people in the Carnival that have kind of been taking the last patch off or so because they've been waiting for engineering. Like engineering is their loop. So this is going to be theirs. I'll probably be doing some vids on that in the very near future, because in addition to being the captain, the pilot, never a bad idea to understand how your ship works. So to start off, everything else pretty much the same. So persistent universe. So here's your character career. This is the big one. So they've got a whole bunch of things here. So hang on just one second. What you can't see off screen is this is me, and this is the picture that I'm going to be working from. I'm going to try to create something that looks like me. Of course, they don't have the receding hairline, the bald spot yet, but we can give it a shot. We'll get close. I'll even try to do the thing with my as one of my college friends put it. She said, "Oh, somebody splashed paint on your face." Yeah, I have mean friends. So yeah, I think we're good. This looks exactly like me. Okay, now let's get into this. Actually, first of all, I'm going to shrink down the screen size a little bit. I have said this before, but I run ultra wide. So my screen actually looks like this. So yeah, slightly different view. Now you can see this up here. Obviously, I don't tend to run things this way for YouTube for obvious reasons. I mean, you can't really see anything and you end up with this strong letterbox. But for this one, I kind of want to show off messing around with the textures over here and everything else, and sort of the features of this. So enjoy this small version. So let's get to work. So the first thing you can do is you can randomize all. Once again, this is almost a perfect representation of what I look like. So yeah, let's say we're done. That's pretty much all we need to do. But let's keep going just to kind of see what all it'll throw at us. That is terrifying. Let's learn to imitate us exactly. Oh yeah. The plating on this McDonald's burger is subpar. Of course, they got the Karen hubcap or haircut there. You can see the hair moving around. Still some of the best hair in any game. That is pretty cool. Of course, there is all of the hairstyles are unisex. All of the makeup is unisex. So, I mean, if you have seen the smolder. Yeah, so I mean, if you've seen the videos, you know that there is nothing on here they won't let you do. So let's go ahead and get to work. I'm going to try to make me. You have a couple of options here. You can sculpt, or you can just kind of grab these points. And if you saw a little twitchy right now. If you saw Sitcon on this, basically what it's doing is it's going through the available cheekbones in this case and kind of saying, okay, you have options to go from this cheekbone to that cheekbone. There's one available that looks like this, so I'll try to blend between them. So, I mean, yeah, you can get something that's weird, but you're not going to get like the Rihanna Keeves thing where it looks completely inhuman. I mean, you can get something that looks kind of different. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get to work. Let's see if we can make me. First of all, let's go ahead and take the hair down since I do not have much. They do have this one, which is close to my hairstyle, but still too long. When I started to give in to male pattern baldness, I just said, well, I'm going to go with this because it's much easier. The hairstyle, not the mustache. I would never do that to myself. Oh, and so outside of grabbing the points and moving them around, you can also go in between heads, kind of the old style. And so you can sort of say, I want like the forehead of this guy and, you know, blend it up. It doesn't look like it's moving right now. Weird. Maybe I broke it. There we go. Okay, so the nose is a little bit more obvious. You can see it moving around. So it's blending between whatever nose it's selected for this rando guy and this guy's nose, and just sort of saying, okay, you want 67% of that guy's nose. I could take 84 of this guy's cheeks. I want to move that down. It doesn't look like it's doing anything. Let's see. That's weird. Okay, so that's a bug, but we'll have to report that. Typically what I do before I start doing this, so you can blend between the heads like you could with the other one, although now there's a few more heads. Like I used to pick this guy and this guy and kind of do sort of a 50-50 blend, and I could get something that was close to me. But in this case, if you're just going to be going from scratch, easiest way to do it is to go through and clear out all the hair just so that you can get the shape of your head right. And again, this is just an option if you want to do perfection. Again, you could just kind of click through this and kind of be like, yep, that's what I want. And you're done. But I'm going to do it where I'm actually trying to create a specific person. So again, clicking on hair, going to go with no hair, going to go with no facial hair for now, just so that I can get the shape right. Brows actually do matter. I don't know how long you followed this channel, but in art, I am a portrait artist primarily. And so if you get the eyes right, you will typically be about 90% of the way to making something that looks like you. Like, most people can ignore everything else, but when you're talking to another person, unless you're severely introverted, you're going to be looking at their face. If you're severely introverted, you're going to be looking at their feet, and their face won't matter at all anyway. But I typically try to get the eyebrows close and then pull facial hair and hair. So let's go ahead and go from there. I am a ginger, but I'm not that ginger. Good God. Okay, so let's go back here. We'll go ahead and start working on this. So skin tone matters. Obviously, I'm going to go in and clear up the makeup because that just kind of makes things a little bit trickier. Let's go ahead and shape this out. So they did used to have eyes that were very close to mine. So my eyes are green on the inside with a ring of blue and then kind of gold flecks. And they had eyes in the old system that were nearly identical to my eyes. I think that is close enough. It's not like anyone in this game is like getting this close to you. So, I mean, I'll take it. But let's see if I can get something a little closer. Probably good enough. Of course, I do need to make my fat Irish head here. I guess Scottish head. Depending on which side I'm claiming that day. All right, so now I can show you kind of a cool thing. So we've got textures over here, so we can lock the skin tone. Which I think I just screwed up my skin tone that I worked so hard on, so let's get that reset. All right, so that's good. So what you can do is when you're shifting through the texture, it'll actually change this color all around. So what I want to do is lock in the skin tone because this is pretty close to what color my skin is. So we'll do that, but now we can go through the texture and you can sort of see what it does here. That's interesting. Wonder if that person has lead poisoning. But the one that I like, we're going to knock down sunspots because that's a little distracting at the moment. That one isn't bad. So what I want is some crow's feet because I am turning 49 in like 2 months. See, that ain't too bad. Maybe a bit too weathered for me. Maybe that'll be while I've spent a little bit of time on the boat. But I mean, obviously you got like baby face up to grizzled old man. Screw it, let's go with that one. So we've got that. So now I'm going to up the freckles because obvious ginger here. So you can sort of see it's very subtle how it's doing that. Kind of do a little splash in there. Now I can do sunspots and then up the opacity. That is getting pretty close. Yeah, I'll take that. Okay, so now we got a face. So again, we've kind of got that, not perfect, but close. So again, picture that we're dealing with, that one right there. Obviously when this thing goes live, I'm going to spend a little more time on this to get it perfect, but that's close. It's kind of got my little Cro-Magnon brow ridge there. I'll play with this a little bit more. There we go. So hair, like I said, I largely shave my head, so we will go away from that. beard. So the problem here is that the beards they've got are what I like to call dev beards. Like, I tend to keep mine trim, but here, I'll just kind of show you some of the options here. Amen, brother. What are you gonna do when Hulkamania runs wild on you? Okay, yeah, it's an option. Of course, you got your black beard. Another thing, again, is you've got some options here where you can sort of see these little dye things or eyedroppers right below it. That's what you click on to change it. So if you're sitting here, you're moving things around and you're not really noticing the beard change color, that is because it is actually changing the color of your hair, not your beard. And so to get the beard to change color, you click on this. And so now beard will change color. So I am going to play with this for a little bit, kind of come back in a second. Another thing you can do is you can apply from the hair or the eyebrows. So what I'm going to do is just say, take it from the eyebrows. So there we go. So now that is what the eyebrows look like, which is interesting that it's putting the white in there because I must have had. That's interesting. Wonder why it has white in there, because there is no white for the eyebrows. Well, interesting. Okay, well, we'll still play around with it. Oh, it's because variation is up, I'll bet. Oh, it doesn't seem to be, yeah, a little bit of a difference. Yeah, there you go. You can sort of see the variation going. So we'll kick that up a little bit. I will move this more down into this range. And I'll give myself something that's a little bit closer to my actual beard. Okay, and since I'm getting old, we're going to do something a little bit different down here. We're going to go dye. We're going to make sure that it is white. Now we're going to add white. Probably to about there. I'll make it a little bit yellow. Sort of play with the variation again. Yeah, again, the variation isn't bad. Down here you have the dye gradient. So if I move it that way, you can sort of see that it keeps it at the... It takes almost all of it out. If I move it all the way this way, and it kind of puts more of it in. And what we're looking for is kind of a blend. See, what I would like to do, we should be able to do dye roots. There we go. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to do the root color. Let's go ahead and turn the dye off so that we can get this. So we want the root color to be the base color of my ginge self here. Right about there. There we go. Yeah, again, not perfect, but this is kind of what we're looking at here. And again, here's the picture. So again, in the final picture, or in the final version, I would spend a little bit more time on this to match it up, but you get the idea. So there we go. We got our character. Now, the best part about this is that we can take this in and save it. So Trajan is the name of my character. I am working on a... I was going to do it as a machinima and then just decided to do it as a webcomic. Got sidetracked with trying to get this channel off the ground, so you're welcome. But there we go. Kind of me, sufficiently old looking. I'll take it. And I have more hair back here. That's great. All right. So I've got the name. We're going to export it. It'll tell me if I want to save it. Oh, it did not. Let's try that again. Oh, that's what it was. So right there, I'm saying export as Trajan Cold. It says, do you wish to save this character as this? This will overwrite your previous character of the same name. Confirm. But one of the cool things is that you could go up and now load up another character, and you could have obviously this come down here and save it as a whole other character. You could say this is Stinky Whistleteeth or Bobo the Clown, but we're not going to do that. So we're going to import Trajan. There he is. So new character creator, artist myself. Very cool. Very cool. So we're done. So we come over to review. Oh, and of course we can do styling, where you do all kind of the eye makeup and stuff like that. And I'll probably do another one of these where makeup opacity, smoothness, metallic finish. So you could do the Mad Max. Notice me just cover his bottom of his face in metallic finish, spray paint. Okay. But anyway, finalize character. Yes, we are good with that. We're going to skip the tutorial. Let's go ahead, and for this one, typically I start in Lorville. Instead, I'm going to start in Orison, not Orison, New Babbage, because from what I've seen, that is where the Copions are spawning the most. So we'll do that. All right, so again, I will just leave this at ultra wide so that you can kind of get a full sense. In the upper left, you can sort of see that we've got the mini map now. It's loading up the new contract information up here. You can see that I've got degrees, so that is useful. We haven't had that on FPS. That is because I'm wearing a helmet. So if I take off a helmet or take off my helmet, it'll do that. You can see we've got the contextual button right there. And of course we got our code up in the corner, kind of show which server we're on. So let's get out of bed. I'll use get up. So again, you've kind of got all the usual things. You can still use F, hold it down. I use this a lot also to kind of zoom in and out. You'll see me do that a lot in my vids. But you can interact with everything. This is your gear storage here. So you can open storage, and again, it opens up your inventory. So you've got external, so you can move everything into your I believe this is the external inventory. I would not suggest doing this just yet because your rooms aren't permanent yet. So let's go ahead and get out. So again, if you just hit I, it'll jump you in and out of the inventory screen just like it used to. So let's go ahead and look at our sexy, sexy faces. Oh yeah, look at that dude. That's a good looking dude. Avert your eyes. So this screen should look pretty familiar. Let's just put myself in, let's go with Rust. I haven't worn the Rust outfit in a while. Of course, we can't go full Lizard King without the leather pants. So now that we've got that, let's go ahead and throw on a backpack. I don't think I will need one for this particular demo, but we'll do it anyway. So there, we got our little backpack on. It will just make going EVA a little bit smoother. Actually, it won't. It'll just look a little smoother. So the Demon Fang knife, which we got for SitCon, I think like 6 years back, 5 or 6 years back, that still doesn't sit on the leg right. So there you go. Let's see if it sits on this side. Nope, that's the only place it'll sit. All right, fine. Can I put it on my side? No, damn it. Oh well. All right, let's go face the world. And again, you can tap or you can hold it down, and either one works. We're on Microtech. Everything is pretty much the same here. I don't think they've changed up anything in Microtech. I've heard some people say that they have changed up some things in Hurston? There it goes. Again, it looks like this is sort of the old one where you can kind of scroll through, which I actually kind of prefer for that interface. I hope they don't change that up too much. But let's go ahead and get up into space. Oh, before we do that, gear storage. So these are everywhere. And again, you can open storage, you can dump things from your inventory into this, and then it'll be available at the other, as far as I know, it'll be available at the other storage locations. So if you get, like, for example, me with my Damaco light machine guns, dump them in there, and then they'll be available somewhere else. If you've got subscriber gear, it'll be available there if you lose it. So let's go ahead and get up into Spec. He's still slow walk downstairs. I have no idea why. Also remember that it is highly likely that if, like me, you have a bunch of key bindings on your flight sticks, this is the ePTU, you'll have to rebind them all or save them in the regular version and then load that file into the ePTU folder and then assign all of the correct joysticks to the correct thing. For me, even with Virpil sticks, it's easier just to rebind the whole thing because I've been through this enough times that that's just easier. So something that I've noticed just now is that this is me jogging at full mouse wheel. Of course, you've got the sprint, so that's the sprint. That's still good, but that is slower than it used to be, pretty sure. Stairs are a little bit smoother, it looks like, although I don't think they actually twitched it. Maybe it's just better desync. All right, let's get a ship. Let's get out of here. Again, you've got more gear storage units right here. All right, so I remembered to put on my helmet. Let's just take out something basic. So again, contextual, you can sort of see we've got the new markers on here, much easier to read. Everything's on there. I think that is still optional that you can do that, but we will do inner pilot seat. So we don't have the new HUD yet because, or at least the Saber Raven doesn't. Eventually you're going to get, all of this stuff is going to be kind of stuffed up against this like we saw in Sitcon. It'll be a little bit cleaned up. You can see the ladder is new, but pretty much everything else is the same. I think that's waiting on the new UI for the helmet. It does look a little bit cleaned up. You can sort of notice that these are actually legible now so that you can tell which one it is. They've added a little bit of a drop shadow, so everything's pretty well visible. All of that's pretty well approved. So let's go ahead and get up into Spec. One thing I forgot, of course, new map. So again, this is everything. It's the star map, it's the local map, it's everything. So if we zoom all the way in, you can see we've got a little icon of our ship. If we were in a bigger ship, like Hammerhead or 890, it would actually give us the layout of the ship. Of course, Saber Raven, kind of small. So again, we are in, this does have master modes. So, forgot to turn off that my mouse actually controls my ship. So I can't do pan arounds of my ship, so you'll just have to imagine. But in this mode, we can't actually travel in quantum, so tap B. See right there, it's got the new interface. We're going into nav mode, which you can sort of see it charging up in the lower left, and it's charging down both our shields and our guns, which is new. Be aware of that. So now we can start to travel. You can notice that our speed immediately started rocking up to about 600. So now this is kind of the way that it used to be in the flight mode, except you'd have shields and guns. Right now I couldn't shoot even if I wanted to. but now you've kind of got your full range of speed, but you don't have shields and you don't have guns, but you can quantum travel right off the bat, but it does have that cooldown time, so be aware. And now we're back to regular sedate speeds. And you can see our shields come back up and our guns will be functional again. All right, I turned off my mouse controlling my ship because I use my joysticks anyway. I can't fly with a mouse and keyboard. I know some people swear by it, but I kind of wanted to pan around my ship because I don't fly this one too often. Even though it's probably the rarest ship I own, probably by a long shot. I think I've said this in other vids, but I actually ran Star Citizen off of this, off of the drive for a while, like a few years before I got this new rig. So probably 6 or 7 years I ran it off of this particular drive. But anyway, let's do what I really came out here for. Moment of truth, y'all. Yep, you can see I can see my legs. Now we're going to go forward. So this isn't obvious in first person. So let me go ahead and switch it up. You'll notice that I'm drifting right now. I am not touching a button right now. So it preserves your momentum while you're moving. So let's go ahead and look at this from here. So here I am. Of course, this is Iron Manning. So you are head down into the universe. I don't know how many of you read Ender's Game, but there was a kind of key strategic move that Ender did in that one where he actually fought people by going this way. Let's see if I can actually do it. Yeah, so you can see it preserves my momentum. So if I push this way, give it a little juice, now I'll just float this way. Not important now because we don't have fuel for our EVA thrusters, but it will matter a lot once we do. And again, if you just want to change your direction, just tap the button and go. So yeah, real slick. This has been a real long time coming. Just CIG's EVA mechanics were janky as hell. So here we are moving backwards. That's what I was trying to do with the whole Ender Wiggins thing, although it does seem like it stops you. That's interesting. So it only preserves your momentum if you're moving sideways. Nope, sideways it stops. Forward, it does not. Okay, so if you're moving forward, preserves your momentum. If you move back or side to side or strafe, it will not. So let's see what happens if we hit up, stops, down, stops. Okay, so yeah, only place it preserves momentum is moving forward. Let's go ahead and get back in. Woo, that's right. Moving faster. There we go. Okay, so if you just tap F, it brings you in. I've got it bound to my mouse, which is one of the reasons that you always see me kind of wiggling this around, is because it's just bound to my mouse. But if you tap F on your keyboard, it'll bring you in. Not sure why it's not doing that for a bound key on my mouse, but what can you do? New mobiGlas. This is the other thing I want to mention, then we'll call it on this one. So you can sort of see, you got the new icons here. They've said that they haven't quite got all of these ported over to building blocks. So like vehicles, you still got the old interface, but is effectively the same thing. Landing, this is obviously all of your repair, refuel things. This is the old, forget what they call it, but being able to transfer money to people. Rep, looks like it's kind of a new one. Assets, that's the old, damn, now I'm forgetting the names of all the things. Those are where you can find out where all your stuff is. Journal, tells you all the little things that are going around. Maps is the big one. contracts where you get your missions. Comms is still the old screen, which this will get updated. I think this one is building blocks, but they'll make it a new one. Health is kind of a new screen. One of the things that is interesting, they've got gravity on there. I want to say they've got rads. Yeah, so they've got radiation up here. Oxygen, they tell you how much oxygen is out there. Fuel, which isn't in yet, but will be. Hydration, hunger, drug level. Got all your things here. It's just a little bit better laid out. The tip, the pressure. Pressure is interesting. Pressure is real interesting. Because you'd really probably only need that if you were underwater or going deep in a gas giant. I guess there's some terrestrial environments that could have high pressure. Yeah, I'll buy that. Okay. So, and then of course your home screen kind of gives you a quick readout here, your vehicles, your contracts, all this stuff. So this one's new where it kind of gives you a little bit of everything, all your notifications over here. It's going to be nice. So again, you can sort of see how this is bent and curved and kind of looks all neat, while this one's still very much flat in the old style. So it's kind of one of those things that we've been waiting on. So, Brave New World, people will definitely be taking a longer look at this once it drops to the live environment. And by then, everyone will have made many, many movies about it. So, or vids about it. So until then, catch you next time. One more thing that's probably going to screw you up that I forgot to mention. So in the old days, it used to be that if you put your gear down, your ship would slow down to landing speed, which was 50 meters per second. Nowadays, so you can sort of see that I am fully stopped here. Let me get up. If I put down my gear, so let me show you that I can move at full speed. So right now, right up to 240, just the way it should be. The Saber Raven is kind of a pseudo racing ship, so it's supposed to accelerate quickly. If I put the gear out, immediately slows me down. Like right now I have max throttle and I'm moving at 30 meters per second, which honestly isn't a bad... Is that an NPC? I don't think that's an NPC. That's got to be a player, but it would be cool. One day, I'm still waiting for NPCs to be flying around. They have removed kind of the sort of pseudo landing zone in front of these, which I think was probably good. I think it was confusing new players. I do like the fact that they've slowed down the landing speed a little bit. Not important for me, but for new players, definitely a big deal. I'm pretty sure there's a way that you can remove all the icons. I mean, this is a bit busy now, but again, if you're a new player, probably very helpful. All right, gang. For reals this time. Catch me next time.